we access a type of healing field which allows us to identify passed down unresolved trauma that lives within us today. And so when you say healing generational trauma forever, we can actually release the passed down pain and shame and struggles and patterns, the dynamics that, again, unconsciously repeat.
Hello, everybody. I'd like to welcome you to my podcast, Renew Motherhood. And this is a special episode. It's about moms heal generational trauma for their children forever. And for this topic, I have got an awesome guest here, Megan Gunsorek. Please briefly introduce yourself. Who are you? Where are you from? What does this topic make to you? What is it about?
Blanka, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. It's an honor to be your guest here. So again, my name's Megan, and where I'm from, I'm originally from Ohio. I live in Puerto Rico now, and I'm a Family Constellations facilitator. So what does that mean? That means we access a type of healing field which allows us to identify passed down unresolved trauma that lives within us today. And so when you say healing generational trauma forever, we can actually release the passed down pain and shame and struggles and patterns, the dynamics that, again, unconsciously repeat and within us and within our family members, within our children. We can actually heal that and not have to repeat those patterns again. So we have this belief or this disconnection from the truth that we are all interconnected. We are all interrelated. And so what happened before us didn't just stay there. It didn't just stay in the past. So anything that's unresolved can show up, can creep up in our lives today. So just as we are living the resources, the strengths of our ancestors within us, within our DNA, within our family, we can also be living the hindrances, the burdens of our family within our DNA as well.
So it makes our life a little harder, more difficult, and we don't know it is, right?
You know, Blanka, it's funny. It's like when we keep being faced with the same issue over and over again, and it's like, man, I healed that. I went to therapy for that. And yet it keeps coming back. It's like this repeating fractal, this repeating pattern, or something that maybe we had a trauma in our life, but it occurs that's so heavy and so deep. And we can see this in ourselves and we can see this in our children. Why is my child reacting with such intensity? It didn't seem like it was that big of an issue. Well, sometimes like our child can be entangled with an energy from the past or an ancestor from the past whose pain wasn't acknowledged, and we will unconsciously again take on what's an unresolved pain in our family to balance our family field. We do this unknowingly, we do this unconsciously, but we can kind of see, oh wow, that doesn't quite seem right. Something seems off, or there seems like there's more to this situation, this trauma than meets the eye. Well, guess what? If we look back in the past, we can typically find out it didn't start with me. It didn't start with my child. It came from there.
Wow. So you have worked a lot with those things. And what's one belief you inherited from your family that you've actively worked to break, and how did it impact you? Do you like to share a story about this?
Yes. I would say, we come from tribes, systems. So family systemic constellation work. We come from systems. Our system of origin is our family system. So we're greatly influenced by the system. We're also influenced by religion and our society, cultural our nations, all those systems influence us. And so there are these loyalties to how it is in our family and we how it is in our tribe, and we adhere to those rules, those loyalties out of survival. Like literally, if we leave our tribe, if we do something different than what our tribe subscribes to, we could die, we could be excluded. And we also do it out of, if I do something different, I'm going to be shamed, or maybe I won't die. So it'll look different nowadays, right? If I won't die, maybe I won't get kicked out of the family, but I'll be shamed. So I'm not going to. I won't honor myself, but because that loyalty to the family is so strong. So for me, I grew up really, I had this big heart, and I just wanted everyone in my family to be happy. And I saw and felt everything. And I was carrying a lot of unresolved pain. And it's like, okay, you're not able to feel that. I'll feel it for you. And again, I'm not doing this I'm not saying that as a child, but I'm doing it, right? One of the beliefs that it was so pervasive, and I'm still uncovering beautiful layers of this. My mom used to say this, and I grew up Catholic. She used to say, peace is flowing like a river. Like it's a song from church, right? And so anytime we would, like my brother and I would fight, or there was like a scuffle somehow in the family, it was like that song came up. And so what was most important in my family was peace. So if there was an injustice or a trauma or an inequality, victim perpetrator, whatever it was within the family, that dealing with that, seeing that, making right with that wasn't as important as peace. And so the conscious belief and the unconscious beliefs were peace is priority. And so if somebody, and this, I see a lot of my clients are Black sheep family. They are the ones who go, okay, something's wrong here, or this doesn't work for me. And they're the ones that say no. Like
I wonder why we are connected.
Exactly, right? Absolutely. And so those are the ones who bring the transformation, the healing to our families, right? But it doesn't look like that at first. It can look like, oh my God, I'm being singled out, I'm being hated on, I'm being gaslit, I'm being excluded from the family, I may die, and then the shame and the guilt of I'm doing something different from my family. And so, okay, so let's go back to this idea of peace. So over the years, it's looked differently for me. As a child and even into, my 20s, it was how can I serve you? How can I give myself to you, Dad, and help you? How can I help you, my brother, in your projects? And so what did that mean? That meant it felt like this feels so good to help them. It feels so good to help. But what was happening was, and the universe was like, hey, this ain't working out for you. Because it was like, I was getting into like legal trouble with it. I was getting relationship trouble with it. And it didn't feel good. And so but I didn't see that. At first it was like, why, you help your dad, you help your family, you help the family business. But the universe said, here's the consequences. So I got that I got it, and I won't go into detail, but I got it in my face of this could cost you your freedom, this could cost you your life. And so so I learned a big lesson. This is one of my big life lessons. And why did I learn that? Why? Well, I'm here to help others, right? I'm here to guide others through this journey. I'm here to hold the space for those who are the Black sheep, so that I can go, okay, let me hold some space for you, because I've been here before. I've been here for you in a really big way, almost that it cost me my freedom, my life within my family. So what I did was, I took my power back. I honored over and over again my family. Like, I love you. Thank you. Thank you for my life. Thank you for all these lessons. Thank you for the horrible experience at times, because I wouldn't know who I am. I wouldn't be who I am right now. I wouldn't have learned what I learned about myself, about family, about life, had I not gone through that. And so it was taking myself back, taking my parts back. And instead of serving them, instead of giving parts of myself away to them, giving that back to myself, giving the love to serving myself. And in that process, making myself whole again. And then, wow, you know what was so important? And I didn't learn as a child? Boundaries, how to honor myself within. If you're in a relationship, whether it's with a parent, a partner, and there's like a narcissistic energy there. They don't want that boundary there. And you don't, as a giver, and many of us women are givers, and many of us moms are givers. We identify, part of the role that we identify as is as I give myself. Like that's who I am, right? And so there's no boundary there. And then, the other one that we're in relationship with may be a taker. And so that's fine with them. But then we're left like depleted. And who am I? And, what about me? And we lose ourselves. And so one day, or maybe every day, who am I? I feel lost. And I know that, moms, so moms, there's this tendency of when they're out of school, I'll then take care of myself. Or I don't have time right now. I don't have energy to focus on myself. So let's wait for that mark in the future, so that then I'll look at that. And so here's the thing is that at that point I go, after the kids are out of the house, okay, who am I? Well, what if during that whole time you could know who you are? What if you didn't have to lose yourself? What if those boundaries were set? What if, yes, you could give? And so back to, learning this powerful lesson in my life, I'm able to give love, give support to others within my healthy boundaries, honoring myself, and being able to powerfully serve. So before that, it was just like just take all of me. Now it's like, here, let me give you this from my heart, and still honor myself, and that's powerful. Okay, I just said a lot, so I want to go back to you
Yes, I just love it, because I think it's so wonderful that you're able to say, okay, I understood something here, and I'm grateful for all the trouble that I went through. I think this is big. This is so huge to really to feel this. You can say whatever you like to say, but if you're not honest to yourself and you can't feel it, so it doesn't mean anything. But if you're able to feel this, to step into this, and to embrace trouble and all the burden on all those things, and say thank you for this because it brought me to the person that I am now, I think this is just wonderful. I love this.
And that's the whole point. It's like, why stay stuck this is the whole transformational process. This isn't my nature to do that, right? It's just like, I'm not going to stay stuck in the crap, right? Like, I know that's fodder. I know that's the initial stage of the transformation process. And so here's the thing. And this is what I love about when I work with moms, when I work with parents, especially moms, I primarily work with women, is what if we could, in the moment when our children are going through those trauma stages, because we're all going to have trauma. It's part of the human construct of of how we learn who we are, how we learn about life and about is going through that trauma. What if we could hold space for our child as they're going through the trauma, to have that conversation and go, hey, here's your experience of what you're going through and the pain. And then hold space for them so that they themselves can go, I'm learning this. What if they could do that then in the moment versus 20 years down the road, 40 years down the road, going back? When I was age 5, mom did this and she wasn't there for me. So what if we could support our children in that way?
That's great. I just love this. Yeah. So just coming back to the questions, can trauma from our ancestors really influence our children's lives today? So how does it show up in our everyday interactions with them?
We'll see it in the dynamics and the patterns. So again, why is my child acting so extreme? I may look at my kid and say, man, I see a lot of grandpa in him. We get clues. We have this intuition, or there's an essence of grandmother in my daughter. We will feel, intuitively know the connection. Okay, so that's a clue. We may see a pattern even in the relationship between ourselves and our child. So maybe we know, or maybe we don't know, but maybe we know that there was an abandonment pattern somehow. So let's say great grandfather, let's say he left the family, or maybe he died, and that was the form of abandonment. And so grandfather felt abandoned, was abandoned. And I got to tell you, generations back, not even too far back, nobody talked about trauma. Was that a word? Nobody went to therapy. It was just dealt with. You just moved on. It was suppressed. It came out in other ways. And so, that suppressed energy doesn't just go away. It lives, right? And so it gets down. And so that abandonment, and again, we can feel it. We can go, okay, I see how that abandonment pattern dynamic, existed. I feel it. I see it. And then we can look at our child and go, my child is really like clingy or acts out when I leave. Like something's going on there, and I'm concerned about that. So again, that's something where we can ourselves sense or maybe they're wetting the bed. Like there's something unusual that's happening that gives us a clue of it's not just them. There's some other influence that's affecting them. Now, as they grow up, those dynamics are gonna compound. And again, if we're not looking at this, if we're not doing the work, they're just gonna unconsciously compound and evolve. When there is an unresolved energy or pain or struggle, trauma, we or our children, anyone in the family can become entangled with a particular ancestor. So one example can be, let's say somebody was excluded from the family generations back. Exclusions are definitely felt. And that can mean let's say somebody left, let's say they did something that they were kicked out of the family, they died young, that could be an exclusion. There's many types of them, of how exclusion looks. They went to war, or even they mentally just excluded themselves. They went to war, they came back, they couldn't deal emotionally, so they were in a different place. Our child can, and this is at the soul level, okay, we can talk about this at the soul level, can actually identify with that ancestor and actually honor that soul and become entangled with them. We call it an entanglement. And so they may feel excluded, and they may not participate in the family functions. They may find friends that are also feeling excluded and go down that route. So it didn't start with them. They're caring, and we do this out of love. We do this out of, I'm honoring who wasn't seen in the family. And oftentimes they see this a lot, and especially with moms who may have had, miscarriage or trouble giving birth in some way, that, if there was, and imagine, again, generations back, we didn't have the medical care. There were a lot of babies who didn't come to term, who died young, illnesses, diseases. And so, those souls, and most likely, again, we weren't honoring, we weren't talking, we weren't feeling, and that caused the separation and the parents' memories of those souls want to be honored in the family. And so if they're not seen, our child, or I can skip a generation, somebody will entangle with that soul and can take on elements of health, of the death, can take on illness. That's something that we can do too. Until that soul is honored, it can be like this ghost memory felt within the beauty of our family soul.
Oh, that's huge too. I think because, well, perhaps we should mention that we're going here on a road where we say, okay, everything is energy, right? So, and if everything is energy, our thoughts are energy, and there are so many things that are energy. Well, everything, but even the unseen things still exist because it's energy, right? And so, if something comes from the past, from our ancestors, and it's the energy that we take with, I would say, is this right?
Yeah,
Would
I
you
mean,
agree?
it's the unseen. I mean, we're living our lives, and it's the unseen. The unseen is there all the time, whether or not we
Yes,
acknowledge
we
it.
can see this in love. We can see this in faith. We
Yeah,
can see this
yeah,
in anxiety, right? No one can
yes,
see this, but we can feel it. It's there.
yes, and let's take a step back, because what's happening right now, we are, there's quite a few levels to this, and we'll speak to a couple of them. We are coming to this, we are going through a conscious awakening. So we are going towards this understanding, visceral understanding, knowing that we are all interconnected, all related. We're all, and we connect through the field. We are all one in some form. Okay. So we're remembering, layers, we're lifting veils, and this is part of the conscious awakening. We're being rebirthed. And so, and yes, we're all energy. There's so many ways of looking at this, so many different angles, and that each and every one is about bringing conscious awareness to ourselves. And so a big portion of this is reconnecting to our divinity, reconnecting to it's right, we are souls. I keep forgetting that. It's not just a human experience. This is actually I'm a soul, and this human experience is just a blip on the map. So, becoming more viscerally aware, not like it's a theory, not like,
Mhm.
church told me, the rules and how, but an actual, oh my gosh, like a visceral, like I feel this connection right now to something bigger than me. And again, that's
Mhm.
through the field, interconnected, interrelated, whatever words, this is your own, it's each of our own rebirth awakening. So we're all going to experience it differently. So, but that's what we're all moving to. So the work that we do with the constellations, we work with the field, and that's, again, it's this infinite information healing field. And every time we do a constellation, and I hold space for 90-minute constellations for my client, the field always moves towards wholeness. And to me, that's the way the universe works. And so I'm, as facilitator, just kind of guiding, nudging the field and my client as far as going back to wholeness, going back to WHOLE, wholeness, to reconnecting, tuning into yourself, tuning into your divinity, your authentic self, the truth. And so the beginning of a session, and I hope a bit right now, your listeners can really are feeling this sense of right now, tuning into the unseen, right now, tuning into this field, the field that connects us all. It's like we can actually tune into that right now. And so, and I forget what was your original question? What were we getting at? Oh, right now. So right now, the energy. So what are we doing right now? Well, we're awakening. We're bringing that which has been unseen into the seen. We are connecting to our own truth, our own self, our divinity.
Mhm.
We are, and what's an access to that? Well, okay. So if I am connecting myself to God, source, creator, whatever words I want to use, to my wholeness. So one access can be, well, starting with my family, where were there split?
Mhm.
Where did my family split? That's what we're doing. It's like the traumas are all split, the exclusions are all split. And so what we're doing, and then when I'm holding this burden, when I'm entangled with an ancestor, it's still a split, right? So when I give back with love this pain that I've been holding for my ancestor, and I go, this doesn't belong to me, this belongs to you. I see what happened, I hear what happened. And our ancestors do not want us to carry their burdens. They want to be at peace.
Mhm.
And so that's another way of, what what's living with me and my kids from when I
There
don't
comes
feel
the
that
peace again.
yeah, yeah, I don't feel feel like somebody's trying to get my attention, or I don't feel like they're at peace. Well, so when we honor what happened, that's when the healing movement of the family field, we can feel it, we see it, and our ancestors can then rest at peace. And so when when our field goes back to wholeness and the love can be restored, passed down the generations, we actually feel it. Wow. Instead of my ancestor feeling like a burden on shoulders carrying something from them, I can hear their support. I feel their support behind me, and I can feel the love being restored. So that's what we do in the constellation work, is the love gets restored, passed down through the generations. I take my life fully. Thank you for giving me life. I take it fully. Then, the parts can be returned back to whole. Okay. So then my internal parts, I can do the parts work internally, bring myself back to wholeness, healthy boundaries, restoring my divinity. So that's what we're doing right now. That's what we're doing collectively. That's what we're doing. That's why this time is so special. There's tools like working with the field. We have really powerful tools. I'm not saying therapy is wonderful. And there are these magical, powerful tools that feel magical. They're basically advancements in what we're able to do energetically. And there's a time and a space right now where this is all being offered. Within, for example, working with me within a 90-minute session, we can clear you from generations of passed down trauma, burden, entanglement, energy. And literally in 90 minutes, it's like it's gone. And in its place, it's not just gone. It's like in its place is this beauty, this honoring, these strength, this power. And boy, am I reconnected now. I didn't even know that connection wasn't there. But now, and I'm now able to receive. It's like there's this distinct before and after. After a session, it's like my clients are like, grandfather gave me this message the other day. And it's like, before the session, they were like, I don't know, I had a grandfather. That's the distinct. But again, once we're now able to tune into the field, which connects us all. So why not do that?
Yes, great. So can you give an example? What changes after reconnection, after healing, after giving back the honor and acknowledging the pain that the ancestors went through? So what happens to the person who came to you and said, I feel connected now? How does it show up in their lives? Can you give an example?
Yeah. And so it will spread into every area of life. And so this work is, yes, it's human, happening on the human plane, this is deep soul work. And so, how do we experience it is life is going to occur differently, because it's like at the source, that issue that kept coming back in different forms, that at the source that's gone. Like the root, the root weed, if you will, has been taken out at the root. And so it doesn't have to keep coming back. So how does that look? Well, it's just gone. That issue's just gone. And healing work at the soul level, and when we're working at this level, is soft, is gentle, is powerful, is lasting. We say that the movement of the soul during the constellation and after a constellation, it'll be, burdens are lifted, energies. I feel like a weight has been lifted off of me. I don't feel that high anymore. I don't feel that burden anymore. I don't feel that guilt anymore. What is around you, your life, seen and unseen, will just feel clear. There'll be a clearing, and you'll feel this movement at the soul, but movement to take a step forward. And what is that? This is a new space. This is me standing in my strength. This is me connected to my authentic self. I feel my boundaries around me now, maybe for the first time. I'm honoring myself, and I'm doing things differently. I'm saying things differently because I'm honoring myself. And I no longer have this unconscious pattern with my spouse, with my child, with my work acquaintance. It's just not there. And so foundationally, these are lasting, gentle, powerful shifts. And it's interesting. And I'm answering your question this way because we come from the left brain. We're trained in the left brain. We come from a patriarchal, logical, goal setting, even like right, wrong, shoulds. This is all left brain. And the field and this shift right now, this healing, this balancing has us moving into the right brain, the soul, the intuition, the feminine. And so we want to know. But when we can take a step back and feel and be and connect, again, connecting to the field, connecting to everything, to us all, connecting to our soul, we get to relax, we get to be, we get to have peace. And so what happens after a constellation? What happens after holding space for your ancestors to heal, to be at peace? Is you get to be at peace. PEACE. You get to, wow, I didn't know that I didn't feel whole. But now that I feel like I got parts of myself back, I actually feel whole. Like I feel whole and complete. And I didn't know that I was disconnected. I mean, there was some separation, but I know why I'm here. I get that I chose these lessons. And when we see, so for example, I see now why, Dad, you and I chose to be here in these roles for each other in this lifetime. Boy, do I thank you. When we see through those eyes, when we go, oh, I get it now. We feel that peace, PEACE. We feel that relief, and life shifts for us. Life just shifts for us, and what we seek, the fulfillment, the purpose, lives within us newly. And then we understand more. Oh, this is a rebirth, and boy, this is a really magical. Oh, I chose to be here at this time. This is a magical time to be here, and it's so important. I get it. It's so important because each and every moment of healing that I do for myself, I give to my children, I give to my ancestors, I give to my friends, and I give to everyone because I am connected to everyone. And that's how important it is that I do honor myself, that I do take the time to take care of myself. And that's how I can help my kids, is by, man, if I'm complaining about that in my kids, here's my access. How can I hold space for myself? How can I love myself even more? How can I listen to myself even more? What are the parts of myself that I'm not listening to? I see it in my child. How can I bring myself back to fullness such that these kids, they're just gonna absorb it off of me, these kids nowadays. Yeah.
Yeah, so wonderful. So brilliant. I just love this, how you explain it. I think everyone can feel this, but at least I can feel this. So I hope everyone who is listening right now can feel this, because it's really it's a game changer, it's a life changer, right? You are getting into another personality, making other decisions, and seeing things really differently after the reconnection, I would say. So what is the most surprising thing you've learned from working with mothers who want to stop generational cycles? Do you have an example for this? What surprised you?
That's
anything that you can surprise?
Good. It's a really good question. And I'm not gonna exactly answer your question. I'm gonna answer it in a different way, if you don't mind. What has me moved every time is the power that a mom has when she does take the time for herself to like stop the patterns, to bring healing, to to like shift the life and experience of everyone around her, to take her power back. That, to me, I am blown away by that. When I have a mom who's, especially if they're young kids, and I'm like, and she's at a workshop or doing a one-on-one, I'm like, you are like, thank you. I'm getting the chills right now. I'm like, thank you. That's not the norm to take time for yourself. And this, this can be, this work is not for everyone. This is healing work. Not everyone's doing. And so it takes a really unique, special person to, and especially a woman who, because it takes a lot to be a mom. So to have that balance and go, this is important too. I'm taking care of myself is important. And I honor, it's like, there's this bowing down to the women, the moms who are leading, because these are leaders. Again, each time a mom has a constellation, she's holding space for all the moms on the planet to do this profound, deep healing work, and saying yes to that, saying yes to women, saying yes to, guess what, boys, we're taking over now. We're balancing the, and it's not going to be loud, because we're not loud. And it's going to be soft and gentle at the soul level. And this is how it looks. And I am a leader, and I, gently, softly, or loudly declaring that.
Yeah, so great. So in your work, have you noticed any specific cultural or societal patterns mothers commonly struggle with? How can they begin breaking those?
Yeah, and I would relate that to the roles. We have external sentences put on us. We have external roles that are put on us. So just as there's roles in our family or loyalties in our family, do's, don'ts, shoulds, in our culture, there are these unconscious shoulds, roles, do's, don'ts. And so, for example, if how I as a mother, if I'm being a certain way as a mother, who I am as a mother is different than what society tells me a mother needs to act, then there can be the similar feelings of guilt, shame, judgment. Oh, the judgment. And then again, same, coming from the family, religion. And so, we're breaking those patterns. And I want to say it in a different way. We are seeing, it's important, just like in a constellation in our family system, what do we do? Like, how do we act? Well, we look, we see what hasn't been seen, what hasn't been spoken, what hasn't been heard. So what culturally, societally, what has been the unspoken rules or sentences, like literally words or sentences passed down that I am living through with today. And so some of those can challenge us. And again, same thing. It's who am I? Maybe I'm the black sheep in the culture. I was black sheep in the family. Maybe I'm raising my children differently, and this is what's true for me. And when you look at that, you go, oh, at first it may feel like guilt, shame, judgment on me for doing that differently. And then you go, you have this perspective shift, and you go, oh, I'm leading in that too. I am leading this massive. I'm a leader in this massive healing of shifting to a more intuitive, resonance-based of just holding space and for my children, so that they can honor both the masculine and whatever the words are, honor both the masculine and feminine, and have more of an awareness of that they are divine beings, and that they don't have to be shamed and guilted and right and wronged. And wow, what they were told was a problem that they needed to be on medication for. Wow, now I see that differently. Now I see that as that I am seeing their gifts now. That's actually a unique ability that they have, and they were sentenced by society with like, that's an issue or a problem. I didn't see that. Now I see that. I'm going to reframe that for myself and for my child, so that my child, this is like how we hold space for our children, that my child can grow into, this is society may see this They tell you that it's a curse, but look at what it truly is. It's your unique gift, an ability of yours. And so that's the space that I'm going to hold for my child. So again, this is like part of this conscious awakening process. And it's coming down to part of the process is what has been the external family system, religion, society, etc. What has been external, passed down judgments, rules, sentences that are just in the ether, in the shadows, in the conscious that I have been entangled with, that I can go, I see it now, not me. I don't resonate with that. I give that back to you. I give that back to you with love. I give that back to you. That's not mine. Here is mine. This is what mine, but these are what. So right now we are distinguishing the external and coming back to the internal. What are my beliefs? What am I in resonance with? We're moving into a resonance-based experience. So what am I in resonance with? What does my body tell me? What does my intuition tell me? What feels right for me? What am I called to do?
Wow, so great. Megan, I think I can talk to you forever. So many questions coming up, but yes, our time goes. What is your offer? What do you mentioned your family constellations? You're a coach, or what? How do you call yourself?
Yeah. I'm a family constellations
Where can people
facilitator.
reach out to you?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So I facilitate the 90-minute constellations, and I'm also a spiritual coach. So there are those who I constellate for who want to do a longer term with me. So I take them on a journey over time. And some clients have one section with me. Some clients, it depends. It's all over the map. Whatever they need that serves them right now. So my website is themorphicfield.com. The Morphic is MORPHIC field.com. So typically, again, we start with our access is what is not me that I'm carrying. So, maybe we do a constellation down father's line, down another one down mother's line. Maybe there's a constellation around returning the parts of the self that are lost and stuck in that trauma. And then, at a certain point, so there is a cadence at a certain point. Again, there's that clearing. Once you're, okay, not me, bring back me, there's a clearing of stepping into a new space. Okay. And a lot of times we're working with your future self too. And that's how the future self just comes in. The future self is available to you right now. And she shows up in a way that is like, wow, that feels like familiar, but like, wow. And so when we work with your future self, it's again, holding that space, creating that space for you to take steps forward on that path. And that's a path. It's more of a being path. Again, a right brained, it can definitely show up as a doing path of like, these are the things that I want to do. But ultimately it's like becoming that future self. But that feels so far down the road separate. No, the future self is now. So we actually integrate with your future self now and you become her now. It's very powerful. So it looks very different for all sorts of people. So if somebody's resonating with what we talked about today, right now I am only doing one-on-one sessions. So I do group work occasionally. And I know a lot of people are doing like massive group work and you don't really work with them one-on-one. I'm doing the opposite right now. I love working one-on-one with people. I offer a free 15-minute call too. So if somebody wants to, if it's resonating with them, they're not sure, just have a 15-minute call. I will tune you into the field. We'll discuss what's going on, like what's showing up now. And I'll help you kind of identify, sometimes right away I'm like, okay, grandfather's coming in, or, I kind of help to, in that moment, identify, this is the entanglement or this is the issue, and let you know if a constellation could support you. Connecting, helping the person connect with their spirit team, helping them receive the messages, interpret the messages as well. I'm here to serve. So for someone's greatest good. And so, it has to be in alignment. It has to be, I have to get a yes, a thumbs up too, to work with someone. But oftentimes, most likely if someone's calling me, if someone wants that call, it's resonating with them. Their ancestors are like orchestrating behind the scene. So but you can sign up for a call through my website as well.
So wonderful. Yes, I will place everything in the description that people can
Wonderful.
really reach out to you. So yes, thank you very, very much for all the value that you've given here. Going into the awakening part. I love this. So yes, thank you very much for being my guest, Megan. I really enjoyed
Thank
it.
you.
To all the listeners, please subscribe and stay tuned.
Thank you so much.